How to make a desktop pet fish game with Godot, a step-by-step tutorial for beginners. I'll take you through the whole process from downloading the game engine Godot, to building the game, to publishing it online on itch.io for other people to play. Here's what we're making. It's a goldfish that lives on your desktop in its little fishbowl. It doesn't do anything aside from swim around and be cute. You can feed it and it'll grow from a tiny baby to a full-grown fish. The fishbowl can be resized and moved around the desktop. You can also mute or unmute the audio. Everything I use to make the game is free. I'm an amateur coder. Even if I don't perfectly understand every single line of code, I can still cobble together a simple game that works. And so can you. Download Godot from godotengine.org. You can download the latest version for your OS. I'm downloading for Mac, but you can download for whatever platform you're using. Aside from Mac, Godot is also available on Android, Linux, Windows, and the web. Since I have other previous versions of Godot, I'm just going to rename it to Godot 4.5, drop it into my applications folder, and open it up. Create a new project. You can call it anything you want. I will call mine Itsy Bitsy Fishy. And I will select the folder where I want it to be. You can put it in any folder. I prefer to use the compatibility renderer. And check this box to edit it now and create it. When you create a game in Godot, Godot will automatically create the folder and the project file for you. So anytime you want to open up your project, you can just open this file, project.godot. Since I have multiple versions of Godot, I do make sure to select the version that I created the project on. Let's start by opening up the project settings. If you don't see all of these, you can toggle advanced settings, like so. Under display, go to window, and we'll use 1080 by 1080. Scroll down, make it transparent. Make the mode canvas items. And expand aspect. You'll notice that when you hover on things in Godot, it'll usually display a hint for you for what it is. Select this as well, per pixel transparency. And we have to restart. Okay, now let's go to 2D mode. Create a 2D scene. We'll call it world. And save it. Scene. Save scene as. And I like to create a separate folder for all the game contents. I'll just call it game. Make sure we're in there. And save the scene here. And you'll see here in the Godot file system, changes are reflected. Inside world, let's create another node 2D. And we'll call it Fishbowl. And then let's right click. Make this its own scene. Save it as well. And then click here to open it in the editor. So now you have it as another tab here. And now let's start building the fishbowl. So for that, we need the game art. To download the game assets, go to mellowminx.itch.io/itsybitsyfishy. I'll make sure to put the download link in the video description as well. Click on download now. Take me to the downloads. And download this file, itsybitsyfishy gameassets.zip. I created the art for this game, and I'm providing it to be free to use for non-commercial games. I didn't create the audio, it's sourced from public domain, so you're free to use that however you like. When you have the assets, you can just copy this whole folder, copy, and then paste it into the game folder, like this. And then Godot will automatically import all of this into the game for you. So you can always create new folders or paste items into the game folder like this using your OS file system. If you're going to delete, edit, or rename anything in your game files or folders, I really recommend that you do not do it in your OS file system. If you're going to rename or delete or edit anything, do it here inside the Godot editor file system. So now we have the Fishbowl folder, and we have the game art in here for the Fishbowl. So click on the Fishbowl node. Nodes are the building blocks of your game in Godot, and a scene is basically a collection of nodes. So here in the Fishbowl node, we want to add a child node, and we want to add a sprite. It's basically just an image, sprite 2D. Call it Fishbowl back. And over here in the inspector panel, you can edit the properties of the node. We want to put an image here in texture. So drag fishbowlback.png over here. And now you'll see it here. Click on Fishbowl node again. Add another sprite 2D child node. And we'll call it Fishbowl front. Drag the image into the texture. So just remember in Godot, it's not going to be the topmost layer that'll be visible in front. It's the bottom layer that'll be visible in front. Just something to keep in mind. Now we can save the scene. Or you can always just use the keyboard shortcut. Save scene. And when you go back to world, it'll automatically update. Go back to the Fishbowl scene. And now let's add a fish. So we'll put the fish in between the back and the front. Click on Fishbowl, add a child node. This time we'll add a character body 2D. Put it here. And we'll call it fish. And we'll also save this as its own scene. And open that up in the editor. And then instead of adding a sprite 2D as a child node using this, we can just drag and drop from here. So it automatically created the sprite 2D child node for fish. We want to put it back here. So just go to transform and reset the position. It'll bring it back to 0, 0. And then save the scene. Check that it's saved in Fishbowl and updated. And it should be updated in world as well. Oh, we have to save this. Now it's updated in world. Save that as well. And then you can always preview your game here by clicking the play button. Oh, we forgot to define our main scene. That's okay, just select current. That's the world scene. And as you can see, it's here in the corner because see this blue outline? So that's actually the window preview. So let's move the fishbowl here. You can drag and drop it. Or we can go into transform, check the position. And remember our window is 1080 by 1080. So whenever there's an input field that takes a number, you can do math in it. So we can put 1080 divided by 2. And same for y, 1080 divided by 2. And it'll be right in the middle of the window. There you go. And we can also uncheck embed game, so we can see the transparent window. There. Now you can see how the game background will be transparent. Now let's make the fish move. Go to the fish scene. Click on fish. And then click here to add a script to the selected node. Make sure it's in the game folder. And this will bring us to the script view. So you can always switch between the 2D view and the script view anytime. So now in fish, let's use the built-in function. Okay, so notice when you start typing, Godot will actually try to auto-complete it for you. So you can just press enter. This function, physics process, will run on every physics frame of the game. So what we want to happen is we want the fish to follow our mouse around. So let's do global position equals lerp, which stands for linear interpolation. So that just means you're trying to change a value gradually to another value. So we're coming from the global position of the fish, and we want it to move towards the mouse position with a weight of, let's say, 0.02. So let's save that file, save, or use the keyboard shortcut to save the script, and then also save the scene or use the keyboard shortcut, and then see how it goes. So there you go, the fish is now following the cursor. But of course it looks weird because it's not flipping to the right when the mouse is on the right. It's just facing the left all the time, and there's nothing to stop it from going outside of the fishbowl. Let's make it so that the fish only follows the mouse when the mouse is in the water. So let's go back to Fishbowl, 2D view, click on Fishbowl, add a child node. We'll use the texture button. We'll call it water button. Open up the textures in the inspector panel, and we're going to fill this one, normal texture. Go back to the Fishbowl folder and use this one, the water button mask. Drop it into the normal texture and then move it where you want to place it. I want to use this texture as the click mask for the button, meaning I only want the button to be clicked here and not outside of the shape. Normally you have to create a bitmap image version of the texture and place it here, but I wanted to do that via script, and I didn't know how to do it via script. But I just went to the Godot subreddit and I searched button texture click mask. And thankfully someone had already shared the code for that. So click on the water button node and click here to add a script to it. Call it water button, create it in the game folder. And then I'll share the link to the Reddit post. Thanks to this Redditor, mrcdk, in the Godot subreddit. So select this, copy, and paste it here. When you're copying code from anywhere, make sure that these spaces are tabs. Sometimes when you copy and paste from somewhere, they become spaces, and that won't work. You have to use tabs like this. And then let's connect the button signals to make it work. So again, making sure that the water button node is selected, go to the node tab beside inspector. In case it didn't display there, just click on the node again. And this is the signal that we want. Mouse entered and mouse exited. So here in the ready function, we'll connect those signals. Mouse entered dot connect on mouse entered, and then mouse exited dot connect on mouse exited. So we're connecting those signals to these functions, which we will create in the script as well. So func on mouse entered, and we just want to test it for now, so we'll just print mouse entered water, and then func on mouse exited, same thing, mouse exited water. So now let's see if that works. So now you can see when I move the mouse in and out of the white area, it's displayed here that the mouse entered the water, the mouse exited the water. So print statements don't affect the final game at all that you export. It's just for testing or debugging your game. So now we know the signals work. Now let's create a global autoload. Go to project settings, go to globals, and we'll make a global autoload. Add it. Make sure to put it inside the game folder. Create that. Close project settings. Find it here in the file system, global.gd. Double click to open. And now you can edit this script. So this global autoload script will be available to all the objects in your game. So we can define a variable called mouse in water, and we'll set it to false. Make sure to save this. Go back to the water button, and here we can set the global variable. When the mouse enters the water, global dot mouse in water, so you can auto-complete it here, equals true. And when the mouse exits the water, we'll set global mouse in water to false. And then let's go back to the fish script, and let's say if global mouse in water, meaning if global mouse in water is true, then it'll change the global position. And make sure to put a tab here. Let's go back to 2D view. Click on the water button node. Go back to the inspector. Go down to visibility, self-modulate, and set the alpha all the way down to 0 to make it transparent. And let's try again. Alright, so now when the mouse moves outside of the water, the fish stops following it. let's go back to fish. So now what we want is for the fish to face the left if the mouse is on the left, and to face the right if the mouse is on the right. So if you click on the Sprite 2D and you go to the inspector and you go under offset, there's a property here called flip H. And if you turn it on, the fish faces the right. And if you hover over it, it'll tell you the property name that you can use in the script, flip_H. So let's use that. So let's add a script here. Click on this node, add a script. We'll call it fish sprite and create that. So this script is for this one. And so we'll use the physics process function again. And again, we'll put the condition if global.mouse in water, and then if the mouse so we just need the X position of the mouse. If the mouse is to the right of this node's global position .x, then flip_H equals true. And if not, flip_H equals false. So let's try that. So there we go. Now the fish is always facing the mouse. And it stays inside the fishbowl.